All right, everybody, we'll get going here in just a couple minutes. Okay, let me know if the audio is okay. Let's do a quick audio check there. You should hear music, be able to see the screens right about now, and then we'll get started in about 2 minutes or so. Just somebody out there, let me know the audio is okay. All right, let's do this. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to Stock Analysis Friday. Today, of course, is February 3rd, 2023. All right, so let's get going, jump in here. I got a few administrational items, I always have to cover first before we get going, so let me run through those real quickly. And the first one, of course, are the risks involved in trading. We like to tell you a little bit about this because I think it's important. There are risks involved in trading, but also in investing. And basically, anytime you put your money on the line, there's risk, right? But like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really go hand in hand. What we want you to do is just, plan for it and also protect yourself against excessive risk. That's the key. And one way to do that, of course, is always trade with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. And of course, always use risk control. We can teach you how to do that. And we basically incorporate position sizing, also known as trade sizing, into that formula. Also run any of the ideas we talk about. And, we're going to be looking at a lot of stocks and ETFs today. So some of those will be looking real good for some excellent momentum trades. But check with your financial advisor to be sure those are suitable for you. We don't know your personal situation. They do. And of course, depending upon your age, net worth, and things like that, some of the trades we recommend may not be suitable for you. So that's kind of important. All right, and I also want to show you some of the books that we have available. The book, the second from the right, called Money Management for Traders. This is where we can help you implement a risk control program into your trading. So you may want to check that out. I've got a brand new book called The Art of Trading, second edition, coming out this year. It's going to be out probably at the end of the summer, beginning, maybe somewhere in the summertime. That should be out. It's going to be a great book. It's going to encompass not only all our new software since the first edition came out in 2008, but a lot of new concepts, so you can pre-order that. I'll put the link up in the recording for that as well. And then I have books on other forms of technical analysis, including the Elliott Wave, which we use a lot as well. We also use a specific type of software, basically, that I've created over the last 30 years of doing this, and we call it the Ultimate Trading System, because it not only gives you entries and exits, but it also helps with the risk control aspect. I think any trading program you have out there, if you don't have good risk control, all right, it's going to make it really tough to be successful. So that's a really important element. We have scanners, the whole 9 yards, so you can check out that. Again, I'll put a link up for our software in the recording so you can look at that. And then finally, we're glad to have you here. All right, it's good to have everybody here. give us a like, all right, if you like us. Hopefully you do. That's why you're here. And pass it on. The more people we get on this particular channel for Stock Analysis Friday, the more stock opportunities we can look. And I go through them all. So, if there's a bunch, we'll be on here for an hour. If there's a few, we'll only be on here for a short period of time. So I see some stocks already coming in the comments area. So what you want to do is you want to start typing in either a stock or an ETF. Please type them in symbols in the comments area. So find that, and that's where you type them in, and then I'll go right down the list as I present. And then I just finally wanted to say thank you for taking the time out. I know everybody's busy out there, so we appreciate you tuning in and making this a success. All right, let's dump that. Let's get out of here and get in there. So while I'm waiting for more stocks to come in, I'm just going to go over a couple things out there that I wanted to share with you. I was looking at our scanners. Now, a quick thing before we get going here. So up here, all right, this rainbow colored assortment of rows and columns, that's our scanners. And we have several different type of scanners that scan the entire markets for certain things that we look for technically. And then on the charts below, we have three. We have a 60-minute chart here on the far left. That gives us a short-term aspect of what we're looking at. We have a daily chart in the middle. That's an intermediate aspect of what we're looking at. And then we have a weekly chart on the far right, which is the long-term aspect of what we're looking at. And then we have our software loaded on each chart. And basically, when we bring up a symbol, all these charts are connected. So it will bring up the same symbol on all three charts. And that gives us a good look at the short, intermediate, and long-term aspect of a trade. And we can use that to decide if we want to be a long-term on a stock, short-term on a stock, or intermediate, and how they all sync together and line up with our software tools. Now, I will say one thing. If you're new here and you're just getting into this type of trading, we call this momentum trading because we're really not looking at the fundamentals. We're looking purely at the aspect of momentum and how we can trade that momentum. So if something is trending up, I don't necessarily care why it's trending. I just don't want to miss the trend. And so these tools are what helps us gauge that. So that's kind of something important you need to know when we look at stocks. So these are momentum type of trades that we're looking at. All right, so I came across NET thanks to our scanners, and I was looking at this particular stock, and it looked like it may be bottoming here, okay? Now, one of our indicators called the PTF, which is this one right here on all three time frames. Notice it's green, right? So this indicator, believe it or not, has a 75% accuracy rate. I love this indicator. So what it's telling me is on the long-term chart, which is over here, there's a 75% probability that this high will be taken out eventually. And the reason it says that high is because that's when it triggered the green PTF. So check that out. I mean, we're at 61 bucks, and this thing has triggered a 220 high. So, all right, that's a long-term trade. I mean, that's a weekly chart. You're going to be in this for years to get up there. But check this out. On the daily chart, it's also green. So notice that is a much closer, because it's short-term, it's an intermediate time frame. That's saying above 80. Still not too bad, right? And then this, of course, is green as well. So the momentum, as we can see on the short-term time frame, is still up. So I really like this trade. I saw it a couple days ago. It's kind of gone up since then. But it still may be a possibility if you want to. This is really the beginning here. Let's draw a couple fibs in to show you the potential of where this thing could possibly go. And this could be a pretty exciting trade for some of you because we think it's going even higher than the PTF high. So around 102 to 143. So I'm liking this. Okay, I'm going to put this on the recommended list. I want to share that with everybody so they didn't miss it today. But that is one I think is pretty good in NET. All right, if anybody's in that, let me know, of course, and we'll take a look at it. All right, the next one, a couple I just want to show you here. Gold is the next one. You know, we've been telling you about gold for a long time and pounding the table on it. We love gold, and also, too, what did we tell you? We told you it was due for a pullback, and guess what? It's getting that. So where's the pullback going? Probably in this range here. All right, we're probably looking around 171 to 165, and it's coming down there now. All right, so it's heading on down. Now, after it reaches here, we expect it to go back up. So if you're in it, You can put your stop under this pyramid if you want to stay in it. If you used our software, it took you out of the impulsive wave already. So you just wait and then go back in it when momentum turns again positive. So at this particular point, I would not recommend gold because it's in a pullback, but I do also like it for a potential trade after it reaches its pullback. So I definitely wanted to share that with you. I also wanted to share one of the cryptos with you today. Actually, two. I wanted to share GBTC. All right, so here's one that's moved up. It's continued to move up recently. All right, you can see it here. And again, like gold, I think this is kind of due for a pullback at some point. So we got to kind of be a little careful here. So if you go in, all right, I do think you need to put your stop below, quite a bit below $9.92, and we're at $12.80. You can wait for the pullback, and if you do, then go long. But I'm thinking that GBTC, which is the ETF for Bitcoin, of course, has tremendous opportunity to go quite high here. I mean, we could get above $60 at some point. So if this is a major bottom, which I think it may be, we're probably looking at some really pretty big moves up on Bitcoin here. I think at the very least, maybe around 25 to 36. It should get there this year sometime pretty quickly. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at that. Now, blockchain's another one, RIOT. Let's take a look at that bad boy. You know, these have surged up again a little bit, so let me redraw some of these markers here. And again, same story with this. Huge move up, huge move down. And I gotta tell you, this is one I love to give my buy and hold friends a hard time with. Look, if you bought and you held, you'd make nothing. You'd probably be losing money. However, if you traded the momentum, you'd be doing okay. So there you have it. All right. So that is blockchain. I'm bullish on that, but again, I think a pullback to $6 to maybe $5, and then it should go again. So if you want to hold back, I get that. All right. Down here and forget about it, that type of thing. All right, so that is that one, and let's see what other ones I wanted to do here. TLT, let me just do the bonds real quick because and USO. I want to do USO for oil. All right, so TLT is the bond market here. My only problem with this is I have red PTFs here. So from a technical standpoint, looks like it's going to go down eventually and maybe make a new low. So I'm kind of staying out of this one for right now. On USO, let's take a look at that. This is the ETF for oil. We've had a little bit of a pullback that we're in now. We're kind of waiting to see if this bottom on the weekly chart holds right here. See? Okay, so we're pulling back a little bit on it. It's around $60, so it's right about down in here. Okay, so we're kind of waiting to see what's cooking on that bad boy. Let me just make sure that is the low, because I actually think it's a little lower than that. Yep, it's it's right back here. Okay, so that's it, around 60 here. So we'll see on that. Now we have a red PTF here and a red owl here in the short term, so I can't recommend this today. Let's wait until this thing pulls back. Let's see if that bottom holds, and if it does and rebounds from there, then we'll put it on the buy list again. Okay, if you're in it already, we've already recommended your stop to be at the very bottom, and just leave it there, because if that is a bottom, you're not going to get stopped out. If it's not a bottom, you'll get stopped out and you're going to want to leave. All right, so definitely keep an eye on that. All right, now let's get to it. All right, so what do we got cooking here? Hello, everybody. Everybody saying hello, hello, hello. All right, so Al, I think you're the first one. Is it RIVN with a question mark? Okay, I don't know if you're not sure of the symbol or you're not sure of the trade. So let's type that baby in and see if we get some data, and we do. So the symbol's good. So the question mark must mean, Ben, what do I do? All right, so let's take a look at this. Not much data on this. So we kind of need a lot of data when we're looking at certain types of technical aspects. For example, all right, Elliott wave. If we're going to use an Elliott wave that assigns wave structure to a particular pattern, you need enough history on there to make it worthwhile. And so far, this has been doing nothing but going down. So I think probably Al is looking at this for a possible bottom here and a move to the upside. And we've got some things that are indicating that may be happening. For example, we had a red PTF and now it's gone neutral. Neutral's good. You can go longer, shorter, or neutral. We got bullish divergence. That's good. No longer a red PTF on the daily. We've got some green here with a pyramid. That's good. All right. Green here, green here. Okay. So in terms of momentum, it is definitely now shifting to the upside. Next thing we got to think about is where the heck is this thing going? All right. Pretty hard to tell, right? Is it going to make a new high and go above 180, or are we just going to get a little retracement and then it's going to go down again? All right. Well, let's draw in where the highest probability area is for a retracement. And I'm going to draw that in here. Now, when I draw a retracement, and I always draw it at the first pullback after the high in this case, and that would be this point right here where my cursor is, all the way down here. So I didn't misdraw that. I did that purposely. All right, so I'm thinking maybe 57 to 84 on this one. Okay, so even if this thing is not done going down, from a probability standpoint, we usually get a fib retracement before it heads down. Not always, but usually. So that would be a possible target, Al, for this. So let's put this down. I actually like it, and I'm going to go through a couple more things on this. One of the things I like about it is not only a decent target, because that gives you your risk to reward, right? But look, we got a pyramid. See this little green triangle right here? All right, so that's a pyramid. That's telling us, okay, go long. That's our system. That's the ART system working. And ART stands for Applied Reality Trading. So it's looking at price patterns to form that particular triangular entry point. And your stop can be here. I put it down, hit the very bottom. All right, just to be safe. Put it all the way at the bottom because you're getting in pretty early here. So I'm liking it. Okay, I got to tell you, not much history. All right, so in terms of Elliott wave, not really sure on the count here, but we certainly could be down at the bottom and now a retracement area. So A-OK, okay, A-OK. All right, that's for you, Al, and the next one is Ray. Hey, Ray, how you doing? All right, Meta, M-E-T-A. Let's take a look at Meta. A little Facebook here. All right, so that's popped up. Check it out, man. Okay, so a couple things here. Definitely moving up. Nice trade on the 60-minute time frame. Look at that, all on the left here. But we're getting some movement up here. Now, the long-term chart is saying, okay, we've got a red PTF. We've still got some bearish momentum. So we got to kind of be careful here. So let's see where this thing could be going. And the target, we're already in it. So the target is 189 to 252. All right. So I would not go long here. And I simply either you're already long. Now, this would have been a great entry down around 120, but we're at 192 now. All right. So our pyramids put you in really early there. It's too late now. You're in the target on this one. So that's my concern about that. Now, we'll see what happens. If this abruptly changes to green, all right, then we may have some more opportunity, but it's not. I think it's going higher. I don't think it's done going up, but we're already in the target zone. So it could go as high as 252, best case scenario probably, or it could just go 198 or 195. This is where it gets a little dicey in terms of knowing exactly how far it's going to go into the target zone. So that's my problem with this one. I love it, but I can't trade it because it's already met the target. So hopefully you got in there earlier before, because that would have been a nice trade earlier. But now it's a little far away. You got to be a little careful with that. All right. So thank you, Ray, for that. All right. So Paul, let's say UNF. Paul's got 3 here to look at. UNF. Ooh, SOFI. I love SOFI too. All right. So let's take a look at UNF. All right, first thing I like to do is just go to the weekly chart and see where the heck we are on that. All right, that's looking pretty good. We no longer have a red. See how the red turned to green, so that's bullish now. We're moving up. Yeah, I like it. Okay, I don't see why you can't go in it, and I think the target here couple things here we want to take a look at. A little messy on the daily chart. See, up and down, up and down. So let's go to the week. Let's open up that weekly chart. Let me throw a data window up here at some point. But in any case, the PTF is showing here that this high should be taken out. The big question is, all right, is this a bottom? Because you can have a retracement up to an inflection point and come back down, right? So you can always have that. That's the risk in the trade. So let's just see. Looks to me like, this almost mimics the Dow Jones, doesn't it? Okay, here's your COVID pullback, your next high. And so this is a little concerning because if we go back to really where this thing began and try to isolate wave 2, which I think is way the heck back here. So in terms of an Elliott wave, I'm just going to do this for a minute. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're asking the question, is 4 over? 4 is the retracement wave. So the only way we got to start connecting the dots here. So let's draw a little bit up here on the fib. So it met the retracement level here. All right, that's a big deal. All right, so that's good. We got a pyramid here. There's no reason not to be long on this. Okay, but this is probably, if you want to get up to this 260 mark, all right, you're going to have to be very deliberate and patient on moving your stop. Because if you move your stop based on the daily chart, you're never going to make it to that target. So your stop has got to be kept way down here and keep it there until you get to that target. And what's the target? Well, again, we're going to just go ahead and draw the fib extensions here and see what we got cooking here. So here, wrong, that's the time extensions, wrong one. All right, fib extensions, this is the bad boy we want. All right, here, and here. So possible targets 306 to 399 on this, but this is a long-term trade. Now look, see the chart here? This is messy, all right? Where are you going to put your stop? So if you put it here, you're probably going to get stopped out on the next pullback and never make it to the target. So you've got to be, I only see this as a trade that's a long-term trade. So I'll put it down as a stock pick for those that are looking for something. You're going to have to be in this for years, okay? That's the only way I see you can make money on this right now, all right? And that's UNF. All right, SOFI. Now, SOFI is one I like. We've looked at this several weeks ago. We liked it then. We still like it now. And you can see why, all right? Took off, all right? Absolutely took off. Thought we may get a little pullback to that retracement area, but no, it kept going. We were happy with that because we're already in very, very early. So we're kind of coming up here, all right? Here's our target here. Okay, we've got green here, we got green here. By the way, this histogram, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but many people know this. This is called the OWL. This is one of our software tools. And basically, it's measuring momentum on each price bar and then assigning a possible wave count on the impulsive wave it's seeing here. So it looks like we're in a major impulsive wave to the move up. So here's the issue, all right? I loved it 2 weeks ago. Even a week ago, but I don't think it's appropriate now to go into this because you have to put your stop so far away because you're going to get some type of retracement at some point, probably down to about $6. So you'd probably be better off waiting for the retracement than just jumping on board. All right, I'm not saying it's not going to go higher tomorrow or Monday or the next day. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying you also could get burned on this by being in a little too late on this first impulsive trend up. I don't see the momentum slowing down on the 1 minute because look at all the histogram bars are going up. I do see it slowing down a little bit on the 60-minute chart, so that's a problem. Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna leave that up to you. Also, too, here's our target at $11 to $16. So we're getting closer and closer to there. I'm not going to put this on the buy list because it was on the buy list about a week or two ago, and that was the time to buy it. Okay, so if you're in it, stay in it. All right. But then you have to make a decision on whether you want to get out on this impulsive wave if it pulls back, or have your stop low enough so you stay all the way to the target. And it's going to take some time to get there. So that's a decision each and every person has to make when they decide what they're going to do. All right, let's go and take a look at AMD. Advanced Micro Devices here. All right, so this one's also moving up. We like this one now very, very much. Liked it last week, I think, when we looked at it. This is really starting to come around really well here. So again, already has run up, so you got to be careful with your stop. Long-term trade looks really good. 159 still looks like a 159 to 224 looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and recommend it because you're still getting in early off the bottom. I'd put your stop, let me just bring up a data window here. I'd put your stop here, probably under this pyramid at the best case scenario. So that's at 60.05. So you see that's 20 points away from where we are. So that's quite a ways, all right, on the weekly chart. But that's where you got to put it in order to reach this target up here for the volatility. Now, if it's a short-term momentum trade, you're only trying to get a few points, then you can put it on this pyramid here at 70. But any major pullback is going to stop you out. All right, so that's looks really good. I'm going to put it on the buy list because I think long-term, I'll make that a long-term one, looks really good. All right, Paul says UNH. Okay, UNH. Well, good thing we looked at UNF, right? That didn't look too bad. All right, UNH. Take a look at that one. Okay, so this one looks like it started its corrective series, and it's no surprise because we looked at this before. So let me just show you something really great about this one. Okay, in terms of if you're not familiar with the Elliott wave, all right, this is where the Elliott wave really is awesome. So look at this big move up here. Okay, huge move, but now it's coming down to the target here. Okay, so we're thinking this thing's going to correct to 352 to 222, and this will be your wave 4. So you want to kind of realize that this is not the time to buy. And you can't miss this. You see, Elliott wave basically states that the third wave is the most powerful. And you also have the most momentum as indicated by our owl here. This is why I love using the modern tools today to help with the Elliott wave probability. So in this case here, 3, probably going into an A wave here, B, C, and if it's a nice orderly ABC correction, we'll get that. If it's a messy one, then you'll get something like this, and then it goes, okay? So the thing is that if you were using our system, you'd be out already, okay, on this impulsive wave. It's going to come down quite some time. All right. So do you want to short it? Possible. All right. Not a bad place to get short. All right. You got to put your stop. Let's go back to that weekly chart for a minute. Again, this is going to be a short you're going to be in for a while. But if you went short here, put your stop here. All right. Then you've got a good possibility of 2 to 1 to get to that target range. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put UNH down as a short. How's that? I think that might be one of the first shorts we've actually listed here. All right, so UNH as a short, but not a buy. Okay. All right, Stu. What's up, Stu? Okay, HPQ. Let's see what's going on with HPQ. All right, so had a nice pullback here. Okay, you can see it up here, starting to rebound. Still kind of, this is kind of cool about the software. You see what it's doing here? You see these blue up and down pyramids, one pointing down, one pointing up. That's identified a channel, okay? As soon as we get above a channel, all right, then this bullish one will go ahead and take hold. So that's kind of where we're at now. We've got bullish momentum on the shorter time frames, and it has been bullish really since December when it turned around off this bottom here. Now, I can't go into this until I know what the target is, right? What's this going to do? All right, PTF is not helping us too much except saying this bullish divergence, but it's not helping us for a target. This kind of that's kind of an odd shaping movement here. So I'm not crazy about this one. I have to be honest with you, all right? It kind of meanders. Looks like a 3, looks like a 4, looks like a 5 here. So maybe we had an ABC correction. We're going to go back up on an impulsive move. But I, for example, think things like NET, RIVN that we looked at, even UNF and AMD are better trades than this. Okay, so I'm not going to recommend this one. All right, let's go on. All right, RIG, Eleanor, how are you? RIG. Let's take a look at RIG. If I can type it in right. There you go. Okay. Sometimes my little things do this. Let's see what we got here. Let me just, give me a second. I just want to wipe this chart out because I've got something cooking on that thing, and we'll create a duplicate chart. And then we'll see if that resets things. Sometimes I type too fast and it kind of gets things off. So we do that, and then let's go back and change this to a weekly. So we get the right time frame there. And now we're good to go again. So let's try that again, Eleanor, okay? RIG. Let's see what we got. There we go. All right, so now this is loading here. All right, this baby's been moving up for quite some time, especially over the last 2 weeks. Gotta love that, right? All right, so this is going up. Now, anytime I look, the hardest thing in trading you're gonna do is when you look at it and it's way the heck up here, you're going to be saying, oh, I wish I got in on this pyramid down here. What a great entry that would be. But if you're up here now, what do? Well, the problem is that, just like trees, they don't grow forever. Markets don't go up in a straight line forever either. And the higher they go up like this, the nastier the pullbacks are. So that's always the problem with getting in late at a situation like this. Now, if you're in it, I'd stay in it. Hopefully you got in way down here. I also put your pyramid pretty far away right here. All right, so we're at 7. That's far away. However, here's where multiple time frames. Look at this. This is an impulsive move on the 60-minute. No question about it. So this is going to help you time when this move from here to here is over. So you could put your stop right here, all right, and maybe let's say you're long here, let's say 1,000 shares, for make it simple math, 1,000 shares. You could put a stop here for 500 shares, and then keep another stop down here for 500. That way, pulls back, you're still in it. If it goes higher, and it probably will, okay? At least you take some profits out so you can take to the bank this impulsive gift the market gave you and make it more psychologically easier to ride the pullback because you took some profits out over here. Another way you could do it is you could put your stop for everything right here and try to time the getting back in. But sometimes it's not so easy to do that. All right, strong market. Not going to recommend it because it's too far away now, but if you're in it, that's the way I would play it. All right, that's RIG. All right, NYCB. Let's see what's cooking on that one. NYCB. All right, so this one has popped off the bottom. I'm going to open up that weekly chart. Roly-poly, big move up here. All right, so we've got some bullish momentum coming in. One of the things here, we don't really, it's kind of a messy market. Notice there's a lot of volatility. These are big price bars. I mean, look at these. Pretty big price bars, right? So you got to make sure your stops aren't too close, whatever you decide to do. Now, we've got green coming in here. We got a bottom here. All right, so, okay. All right, this bottom held because, look, the bears tried to drive it down but couldn't go below it. So that's a good sign. Let's roll over and see what we've got cooking on the lower time frames. Bullish. All right, the histograms are bullish. We got PTF here. We've got a big move up, though. So notice the ideal entry would have been, a couple weeks ago on this thing here. So then your stop could be here. So you're probably going to get a pullback. All right, again, this is one of these. If you look at the 60-minute chart, look at all these pyramids. When you have like 4 pyramids, okay, that means the trend is getting mature. So you've had 4 green ones. All right, now it's starting over again, though. So I think you're probably getting close to a pullback. So I like the other ones better. Let's look at this next week. Okay, let's see if we get a pullback on this one. All right, NIO. So I would not recommend this at that time, just simply because pullback is probably in the cards someplace. All right, NIO, let this baby load. Okay, This is almost looking like the crypto market, up and down. So boom, boom. All right, this is when you run to your financial advisor or long-term investor and you say, you see, buy and hold, not so great. I bought it, I held it, and now look where I am. All right, much better to trade this way. All right, so in any case, let's take a look and see. All right, so this could be a candidate for a long trade after a long pullback like this. However, this is keeping us out of any type of long trade here. Now, this is interesting because this is green here. So maybe short term, we're going to go up a little bit further, but this is calling for the trend not being done to the downside. So any type of movement up is not a change in trend. This is what this is meaning. It's just a correction in the downtrend. However, all right, this being green is indicating that whatever this price bar occurred here, I'm always a little subject when it's one price bar creating a PTF, because that usually means it was a large order and may not be the commitment of traders. It's just one person. So, you know, I like it. I like that to turn green when it's more orderly. So it makes the trade a little more risky. So if you want to take a long trade here, put your stop under that price bar and try to make it up here. Okay, you could do that based on that indicator. All right. Yes, you're going against this chart, but, you know, short term, it's probably could be going up before it comes back down. So that's kind of a little dicey. I'm not going to recommend it because it's a one price bar wonder, so to speak, but that's kind of my take on that in NIO. All right, let's go to Ray UNG. Let's see what's cooking on UNG. Well, you guys are coming up with some really good ones. Excellent job. All right, so UNG. All right, talk about a missile going down. Look at that baby. All right. So you don't want to be long. You don't want to go long. You could put this on a watch list for possibly a bottom coming up, maybe, and maybe a turnaround. One of the things is when you get something cratering down like this, the retracements are going to be significant. We're just not there yet. So let's put this on a watch list. Okay. Now, if you're short, let me know. Okay. But this would be a watch list. We'll call this watch list for UNG. So no trade on this. If you're short, I'd put your stop right where our pyramid is, okay, on the daily chart, and keep it there. All right. So that would be, here's my data window way over here. You know, whenever I put my price bar, my mouse rather, on a price bar, I'm looking for the data window. This is it right here. Okay, I store it right down here. It's right below our risk to reward calculator, okay, which is up here that we used for trade size. All right, so your stop, if you put it here, okay, that's kind of what we're thinking there on that. So let's see, in terms of price, that's going to be around a high of 11, looks like 11. Let me just make sure I get the right price bar. All right, so it's a high of 13.13, so your stop needs to be at 13.14, one tick above that. All right, if you're short. Otherwise, leave it alone. Do not go short if you're not short. It's too late. Okay, so that's that type of thing. All right, so that one was UNG for Ray. Adam, how are you? USB. USB. All right, so let's see what we got, and then BBY for you. All right, so USB moving up. All right. Let me open up the weekly and see if I can get a clear view here of what's going on. All right, so, all right. I don't think I would trade this based on the weekly chart right now. All right, I would not be long on this right now. If you're long earlier, great. Just put your stop right below this pyramid, which is going to be 44.91. But this is red. See the PTF red on the 60-minute? So you don't want to go long here. So it's saying after this move up, we're going to get a fairly nice correction that's going to go below this area here is. Now, from a technical standpoint, do you see how important it is to have tools that give you this information across a broad base, short, intermediate, and long-term aspect of the market you're looking at? I don't know how you would do this without doing it this way. because this gives you the information you need to not only decide if you should enter a trade, but how you should manage it. And it's really important. So in this case here, all right, I would not recommend this for a long position. And if I was long already, I might even use this pyramid on the 60-minute chart, because if that gets taken out here, it's going down probably to 45. So that price bar, let me just get you a stop here on this tool that I use here on the pyramids. That stop on the fractal low is 48.72. So that's probably where I put my stop out. And if I get taken out, then that's probably heading on down. Okay. So just food for thought. All right. USB. All right. Let's keep going here. Oxy. OXY. Let's see what we got here for you, Al. All right. Al's in puts. Al likes options. All right. He's a put man. He's puts. He's going short on this baby. All right. So I don't know when you went short. All right. However, okay, if you're short here, what he's trying to do here is play a move down. Obviously, you buy puts when you think the market's going down, right? So he thinks this is topped and it's heading down. A little too early to tell quite yet on the weekly chart. You do have a red owl, which is good. I probably want this thing to head below some of these key levels of support. And then the decision's got to be, where is this going? Is this going to be this? Is it going to pull back and then go higher? Or are we going to go down? All right. So if it's going to pull back only, then, you're talking about some type of retracement here. Not too much right there, right? All right. So you don't have that much potential there. You have to have your timing awful good on that. So that's something there to think about. All right. You definitely got the shorts here and the shorts here, except now you have a green owl, but it was probably red when you went down. So again, it all comes down to targets. Where do you think this thing is going? Now, let me just quickly open up this daily chart and see if I can get a better idea on, it looks like, I just want to see if this is a bottom or that other one is a bottom. So that's 852. Okay, so this is the bottom over here. So that means this is wave 2. Okay, so if we do our Elliott wave, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, which is why Al went short. So no worries on his direction there. The question is, what's the profit potential? All right, and let's try to get that kind of zero. Hopefully, you have a synthetic risk control built into the put in terms of how much you bought of it, and cover it when you get down to the target zone in terms of you can even use the pyramids to trail your stop and cover that put when it gets down there. Okay, so okay, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to recommend this necessarily for everybody, but it is a possible one. I'm going to put it up here for a short in case you want to do those. I'll put that up here as a short. Okay, good. Al, thank you. All right. Let's keep going here. Steve, how are you, Steve? Okay. Steve wants to take a look at PTON. PTON. Let that load here a second. All right. So here's one we go back to about 2020. So not a ton of history, but definitely a new low with a curling bottom. All right. That's kind of like a good sign for possible rebound. This has got good potential here. Okay. I'm liking this one. All right. So target on this, probably I'm going to just go ahead and draw in a retracement of some type. So I'm going to be pretty conservative and pick, this is a point here. So I'm really liking this one. This is good. PTON. All right. Let me just write that, make sure I got PTON. And targets 52 to 82. All right, Steve, on this one. We've got a beautiful pyramid. I don't know if you see it. Let me just make it more visible. So you have a beautiful pyramid entry here. okay? You want to put your stop here. Anytime you get a pyramid entry, well, let me draw this a little bit better. That'll even give you a higher target zone. Anytime you get a pyramid trading point entry off a bottom, always put your stop at the bottom. The pyramids are designed to trade the impulsive waves only, so you've got to put the stop at the bottom on those, all right? And after you're in wave 3, you can use the pyramids all the way up the impulsive wave 3. So 1, 2, so we're probably going up pretty high here. We're probably going to get a pullback, all right? Look at this, okay? But we're so close to the bottom in relation to the potential profit. You see, even though this has moved up a lot, and I kind of say, well, wait until it pulls back, this has got such a tremendous risk to reward. So even if you got in here, put your stop way under here, look at the potential risk to reward in your favor, okay? Almost like a 3-to-1. So I don't have any trouble of you going in now as long as you put your stop low. You know, don't put it here because you're going to get stopped out. All right, so put it low. So I'm liking this one, okay? PTON home run. Okay, good job, Steve. Intel, INTC. Let's take a look at that bad boy and see what that has in store for us, because that was another one that was kind of curling, I think. Yep, here we are. Okay, Intel's a little different, all right, and let me tell you why. All right, short term looks like the 60 minutes has a few more highs, so we're in a corrective pattern here. I don't like the red PTF, all right. That indicates to me that we may not get a full retracement yet. In other words, it still could go one down and then retrace. So it's also possible it could be red the entire retracement, because let's say this is a 3, this is a 4, prices come up here, 5, and then it's right because eventually it goes below here. But it's a little more risky taking a retracement trade when that's red for that reason. From the daily chart and the weekly chart, it looks like a bullish trade here has a good chance of reaching a retracement area before selling off, all right? But because that's a red PTF over there, it just adds a little more risk. So I like what you found. I like the idea behind it. My trading rules specifically would say probably wait on this one. I kind of like your other one better, okay? A long trade, if you want to take it, you could certainly take it, all right? I just wouldn't recommend it because of the red PTF. All right, but I honestly think it may stay red during the entire retracement on that one. Okay, so I'll leave that to you, but to everybody out there. But that's my thinking behind that. All right, let's take a look at your other one, FTCH. Boy, you're finding really good ones. All right, so Steve, what I like about Steve's opportunities here, as well as Al's and others out there, is that if you can get in early off a big move, whether it's down or up, all right, basically, you know, your profit potential increases dramatically, and that's what I'm liking about this. So basically, you know, if you're short, fine, okay, your stop would be here. You get stopped out at a beautiful profit because your first entry was way the heck up here. All right, so look at the profit. Okay, great short trade, but that's done now. All right, you can't go short anymore. It's too late. So now you want to look for the opportunity to the upside, right? So we got bullish divergence there. We've got green coming in here. We've already had green here. Yes, we're going to get a pullback, all right? But this is looking pretty good. So no red PTF. You see that on the on any of the time frames. So let's open this bad boy up, all right? So probably not a bad one to give it a shot, all right? So here's my thinking on this. We don't have a pyramid yet, so you're probably going to get one on the next pullback somewhere in here. So you can wait for that, but I'm going to go ahead and just let's take a look and see what the target could be. So it's 740. Your stop would have to be really huge. That's the problem, way back here. So if this is the first leg up, the problem is whether it's a B wave or a 2 wave, it can retrace pretty far down before it goes. So that's the problem with actually, hopefully maybe you got in a little earlier on this because you could have gotten in when the owl turned green here. But let's open this up real quick and just take a quick look at where we think this is going in terms of a target. Huge move here possible to the upside. All right, so I'm going to use this as a 2 here. and draw this down here. So our target's 26. Target is 26 on that, right? So let's just use the trade size calculator for a minute. Let me set it up here so if the entry price was 741, let's put that in here, and we use the stop at the very, very bottom down here at 372. So that's a far way away, 3.72. All right, our target we'll say is 2602. So let's put that in here as 26.02 and just hit calculate. The risk to reward is 5 to 1, even using a stop that far low. All right. Now, if that stop is too far away, and I get that, what I would do is grab some retracements here, and your point of inflection is here. Let's put our stop at 532 and see. All right, so 5 instead of 372, we'll use 532. One tick under the lower retracement area gives you the best chance of staying in. Hit calculate. Now your risk to reward is 8.9. All right, so I like that. So let's put this on. All right, FTCH. And again, the reason why this works is because the target is so far away from where current prices are that if you put your stop low enough to avoid a pullback, you'll still make it. All right. So FTCH, I'm going to put on the buy list. Good job. All right. Steve, those are excellent. Okay. The only one INTC I wouldn't take is because of the red PTF on the weekly. All right. Good job. Sergio, how are you? NKLA. Let's take a look at that bad boy. I'm going to repeat the winners because we got a lot of winners today. So we'll see where that goes. All right. So Sergio, I think you probably have our software, right? All right. He's looking at this green PTF on the weekly chart. So again, here's, one big bar up is a little suspect on the, on that because we kind of like to see an orderly move. But, okay, we've had a big sell-off since. So even if the PTF wasn't green, this is ripe for a turnaround at some point. And even if you got a retracement, not a bad trade. Probably get up to 30, maybe 40, okay? So what do you do with this? All right, so let's see what we got cooking here. First thing we want to make sure is that any active short trade that we've been in is not still active, right? So if we look at this, we've gotten above the stop out area on that pyramid. At least I think we have. Let's just take a look at the data here. So the high on that is what, 292. We're looking at about 298. Yeah, so you would have been stopped out on the short position. You do not have a pyramid to go in yet, but you do have a green PTF. So if you wanted to be chancy, all right, you could go in now, put your stop at the very bottom. And then the only way you're going to get stopped out is if this is not the bottom. And that's kind of the way you want it to be. You don't want to be stopped down on volatility. The potential on this, the reason why you might want to consider taking that is if we drew in a fib retracement, look at the freaking profit potential. You're at 291, all right, and it's 30 to 40 on a retracement. Now, what causes markets to come up to that high? Well, if they don't go bankrupt, all right, but they come way down here, you have value investors that think about getting in. But you also have people that have shorted this thing that now will cover their shorts if we start to get some movement to the upside. That fuels prices up to these retracements areas. And then after the mania of all that is done, then people reassess the market to see what's going on in terms of the price versus the fundamentally where it is. And, at that particular point, technically the shorts have covered. So then people reassess it from a technical standpoint as well. So that's why you have a good chance of getting up to some of those retracement levels, provided the bottom is in. All right. All bets are off if, of course, this is a premature entry and the bottom is not in. But I got to tell you, with the risk to reward, I mean, I haven't done the calculator yet on this, but I can tell you it's huge. I mean, look at that. That's probably what? I'm going to say almost 20 to 1, all right, in your favor. So NKLA is a go, all right? I'm liking it, all right? Not a slam dunk, but it's worth the risk, All right. All right, Frank, TEVA. Let's see what you got in there for you here. TVEA. Let me bring all this down here. Okay, so here's TEVA. All right, I've traded TEVA quite a bit. All right, so what's going on with TEVA? Let's take a big look at the weekly chart on this bad boy and see what we've got cooking. Let me realign it a little bit so you can see it better. All right, so it came big downturn here, kind of meandering. Now, here's the kind of thing you got to be careful about, all right? Just because you have a bottom in, sometimes you can get stuck in a market that goes sideways, all right? You're never really going to know that if you're going to get in early. So if you got in over here, you're just not going to know that this is going to happen, all right? But if you show up now, you can see it. So you probably kind of want to be a little careful on getting in terms of kind of breaking the channel. So let's take a look at the top of this channel here. And let me grab a horizontal line and just stick that baby. Let's make sure, actually, that's kind of probably where you could put it. I mean, there's the high, but I'd be happy if it got above there. And so you're technically still under a major threshold here, which means that if you go long, which you could have done off these pyramids here, it also could drift sideways. Doesn't mean you'll get stopped out, but you might be in it a little bit longer. The only thing you got going for you on this one is that the longer it stays drifting like it did, the higher the probabilities are it's not going to keep continuing forever like that, right? Famous last words. But anyway, so in other words, what I'm saying is that after this many price bars of drifting or years drifting, chances are it's getting ready for a break. And when it does, it's going to be a fairly significant break, hopefully to the upside. Again, if we want to play devil's advocate, let me just remove this line and just say, okay, at the worst case scenario, a retracement trade on this may yield a profit of 28. We're sitting at 10. I don't know about you, but that's 100% return. That's not too bad. All right. Question is, how long is it going to take you to get there? Because that will affect your return on investment. So we're getting pretty good on this. Two ways you could play this. You could wait for the breakout. You could go in early now, but be okay about sitting on your hands a little bit while that happens, okay? Because it may take some time to do that. So I'm going to put TIVA down. There's nothing wrong with it for a trade. I'm going to put it for a long trade, but a long term, okay? Because I think it's going to take a while. All right, let's keep going here. Boy, you guys are doing great. These are awesome. UNG, you're going to have to check the options table on that. Ray is asking me about UNG having a futures time decay. All in terms of time decay, that relates to options. All options have time decay. All right, so it depends on the how much intrinsic value you have, and of course, if you buy in the money on an option, that's going to increase your intrinsic value. So most people that buy options like to buy them at or a little in the money because that lowers the time decay. But in any case, that's what option software does. By the way, great option software is called Options Play. You can get it in our on our website in the Customer Hub area if you're a current client, and we have a discount for you on it. So it's really good stuff. All right, let's keep going. Al, CNQ. Take a look at CNQ. Okay, so thoughts on CNQ? So Al's considering this one. Well, let's open up that weekly chart. So we had a drifting market and then a break from that drift. Kind of a little messy. All right, so the PTF is helping us here. Impulsive wave, 1, 2, 3, 3 makes sense. A, B, C, and then another one. So this was a C, probably a D, E, complex correction. Looks like it's over. We got this going up. So now, let me just run a couple of quick retracements on this. Let's make sure. So this is all what I kind of do. When I ever look at a market, I always like to see how many dots connect. All right, did we get a retracement into the target zone? Yes. All right, this pyramid held you in here pretty good on this one, so you'd still be long there. That's a dot to connect. We got a green PTF, so we're going to go above wave 3, which will happen with wave 5. That's a dot that connected. We have a green owl showing momentum. That's a dot that connected. So let's get rid of that. That's good. Now, the other thing we want to draw in is the target. And for that, we use a fib extension. And we come up here, we go down here, the lowest low. So we're looking at 78.98. You're at 58. You may be able to put your stop under this price bar. And let's just quickly do a very quick trade size on that. So let's just run the numbers and see if the risk to reward is there, because you don't have to guess at this. All right, so we put in 58.22. If we go for a stop, you're not going to have the risk to reward if you put it at the very bottom. It's too late for that. All right, if you got in a little earlier, you could have done that. But right now, the stop would need to be at 51.63. So let's type that one in, 51.63. All right, and the target is now on the target. All right, you got a little bit of a zone here. All right, I always first use the closest zone. I like to be a little conservative and see how that works out. So 78.98. Let's hit the calculate, and that's a 3.15. So you're okay there. All right. You're okay. So that's okay. So C and Q. You'll be in it. That's not going to be a super quick trade, but you'll be in that. You should reach that, I'm going to say, within about 6 months or so, if all goes well. All right, let's keep going. BBY. Bed Bath & Beyond, right? Bankrupt Bed Bath & Beyond. All right, restructuring. Let's just say restructuring. All right, if that's the right stock. Looks better than I thought it would look. All right, BBY. All right, so heading up. And let's open up this chart here. All right, so things are not looking too bad here. Again, very similar almost to the overall market. Here's your COVID low. Here's your high there, interesting, and then came back down. So let me just draw a couple fibs in on this. I'm going to use a broad base 2 down here. So you hit that, came down pretty low. The lower the correction is, the shallower the wave 5 is going to be. Okay, that's just the way it works. So it hit the high probability area. Let's draw in some extensions. Nope, wrong one. Extensions. There we go. All right, so what did I use for that here? Oh man, I think I did. No, here. All right, no, here. Okay. So we're probably looking right around there. So you see the extensions have it right just to where the old high was because it was so deep. But still not bad, all right? You're at 90.61, so 138 with a pyramid entry on a green owl on the long term. And you've got a bunch of pyramids. So what the pyramids are showing us on the short term is, A, you got the momentum going for you. Okay, no worries there. Problem is you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You haven't been stopped out. You're stopped on this impulsive wave. Now, the pyramids, what they'll do is they'll track the impulsive waves. But you're going to be taken out, okay, as soon as the impulsive wave is done. So, in other words, if you're trying to get way up here, all right, you're going to have to survive all these pullbacks. And the pyramids are going to be trading these pullbacks, these impulsive waves up only. So you're always going to get stopped out on an impulsive wave for the most part using the pyramid. So if your intentions is to get up here, you need to keep your stop low as possible. All right, so that's kind of where I would have that one. So BBY, I see no reason not to take it, but you're going to get a pullback at some point. But if you have your stop low enough, you got great risk to reward, I think, here. So I'm thinking, okay, geez, there's hardly a stock we've looked at today that isn't decent, right? Not my favorite out of the whole group, but not a bad one. So I can't say no, all right, to that one. All right, NVIDIA. Let's take a look at NVDA. Now, this is one that we've been in for a while, all right? So, and we've recommended this one a lot. So we think this is coming up on now a wave 5 to the upside. So let's just draw in some extensions here. I'm going to just use this point, deep retracement. So notice how that target zone is here, but the PTF, all right, is telling us that this high here is going to be taken out. So I think we'll probably get to the 365 area here. All right, so I'm liking that. I think the wave count inside 5 at this point is a 1. Whoops, sorry. Is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can put your stop under the MP there. Okay, you can put it right under there. No short position still in existence. So I'm liking this one still a lot. All right. Problem is, it would have been a better entry earlier because here to here, your risk to reward, it would have to get into this area of the target to make sense. So we recommended this one before. If you're in it, stay with it. All right. Don't be so quick to move your stop up. Okay. Here's a perfect example of what the pyramids do. So your first impulsive wave was here, right? Pyramids took you out. Now the pyramids put you back in. Okay, so now that's how you do it. So if you're going to trade this little move 3 inside 5, this is what it's going to do. It's going to track that up. So if you're trying to make it all the way up to the PTF high on the weekly chart, you've got to have your stop under here, or else you'll never make it. Okay, so I'm liking it. I'm not going to recommend it because we already recommended it and it's moved along so good. But Eleanor, hopefully you're in it. All right. Dan, boy, you guys are really cranking it out today. SILJ. Let's see what we got there. Give that a second to load. All right, so let's see what's cooking on this. Okay, so you have puts, okay? So you're short this. All right, so we no longer have an impulsive wave trade based on the pyramids. They've been stopped out, right? So, okay, there you have that. You have red here, green here, okay? So, again, I think what you have to ask yourself is what your target is. I can't come up with a target based on that weekly chart. Not enough history, and man, is that a mess, okay? So I don't know what the target is. The only target I potentially could have had was a red PTF here, but again, so that went red here. The trade would have had to have been entered way up here with a stop here at that time, or even on this side with a stop here. So I don't know where you got in, but I guess if your inputs now, it looks to me like this is very close to going red, and if that does, then we're probably going to pull down some more. So let's just say you timed it perfectly, all right? And let's just be very conservative here. And if this uptrend is not over, because it's not over according to the weekly chart, okay? We have a bullish pyramid and green. So this looks to me like a bottom, and you're trading down to the short side on this, and then it's going to do this. So this is your target. So if we go down a little further, all right, I think you need to think about covering it, okay? And you can, if you had our tools, you could see when, if this goes red, when this goes back green, you cover it. And if you want to take quicker profits, you cover it when the 60-minute chart owl goes green. So that's how I would play that, all right? This is not a trade for anybody else. Okay, only him because he's already short in it. All right. Eleanor, DE. Let's take a look at DE here. And it looks like this may be our last one. All right, what a great day today. Holy cow. All right, so DE. All right, let's take a look at this. Eleanor, I don't know if you're already in this or not. We had a nice move up here, okay? Correction, now a new high. All right. Bearish divergence doesn't mean you can't get a little higher, but this thing's running out of steam. And now let's go over to the daily chart, and it looks like it's okay, interesting. All right, so we have a green PTF here. So even though it's run out of steam, it looks like it's going to probably correct down to its fib retracement and then go higher, according to that indicator. So here we can draw here to here. Oh boy, okay, right there, I think. So we're almost down to the target zone. We got red here. So it very conceivably could come down a little further. And then we should get one more high, provided this stays green. And then I got to tell you, at the next high, you want to get out. all right, because then it's probably going to go into a more significant correction at that point. So I guess I would hold on to it, all right, for right now. Stock can be below 374. All right, so if you're in it, you can hold on to it, but it could come back down into the upper 300s too, okay, before it rebounds. Now, just as a side note here, it did already touch this. So from a technical standpoint, that's all it needs to do. But this has to be green, and we have to have some more bullishness come in before I have any confidence that that is the bottom of 4. And honestly, sometimes that happens, but sometimes it creeps back up and goes back in and then takes off. All right, so, it's a little dicey on this one. If you want to stay with it, I don't know if you're profitable or not in it, but you're talking probably you need to get that stop below 374 to give you the highest probabilities of staying in it. Okay, sometimes you even get stopped out then, but that's my recommendation for that. Okay, if you're not in it, folks, don't go in this one. It's not ready yet. Okay, good. All right, so I think, my goodness, I think that's it. All right, so we went over an hour. I know we spent a lot of time today doing that, but what a great day. All right, I'm just going to read off. So get your pens out, get a pen and paper. I'm going to read off the ones we like today. We got a long list. So let me give you a minute while you're doing that. And then I'll quickly just take a look at some of the day trading time frames to see what's cooking over there. All right, so first one we liked was NET. That's the one I shared with you. Then we liked RIVN, UNF, AMD. These are all long trades. All right, now, caveat, UNF and AMD is, I think it was AMD. Can't even read my own writing. AMD is correct, yeah. All right, so that is those are long-term trades, okay? PTON, FTCH are good. NKLA, TEVA, long-term trade. C&Q, BBY. Short trades, we even got 2 short trades, UNH and OXY. So a lot we found today. So that should be pretty good list for you to take a look at for trading next week or even for the rest of the day today, if you wanted to take some entries in those. And I'm delighted to see we got that many because that's really the whole purpose of the room, is not only to take a look at what you got, but I can guarantee you there's going to be some stocks here you weren't even aware of. And so now you can add those to your list. So kind of cool. All right, for fun, let's just go over to the intraday time frames. Now, as you know, we run a day trading room. We have a blast there. We test a whole bunch of new things. But check these out. All right, this is crude oil on a very short time frame. So this is a 1-minute time frame. Same type of thing, 1 minute. And then let me just put up the 5-minute here. Okay, this is the 5-minute. Look at the dive down and look at the PTF. Okay, it was right. Okay, all along and continues to show right. So even what great trades, you would not have gone long against that PTF, but what great trades. And take a look at the 15-second time frame, all those pyramids pointing down. So what a tremendous trade that would have been there. Let's go over and take a look at the MES and see what that did this morning on these time frames. So here we got a situation coming down there. Now it looks like probably we'll perk back up and make another high here. Let's take a look at gold. All right, gold has come down. Look at all the pyramids down. Great trade to the downside. It's bottoming now. All right, so this is probably going to get stopped out of your short trade here. Bullish divergence. We're going to be looking to go long on this at some point here in the early morning here or in the morning here. All right, so let's take a look at the MNQ. There, that baby's correcting right now after a big move up. Let's take a look at the Dow. These are all the micro Dow E-minis, for example. That's correcting. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of a pullback in the market temporarily. Don't forget, 1-minute time frame, so for the next 20 minutes. M2K, here's the Russell. That's coming back. You can see the bearish trading pyramids here. Bitcoin, here's Bitcoin, but there's just not a lot of volume on these low time frames here. So you'd have to trade a higher time frame for that. So there you have it. Okay. So crude oil, big winner in terms of taking off to the bottom there today. All right. So great day today. And we'll go ahead and end here. I want to thank you. I've listed all the winners. So I think I covered that. And thanks for coming. Okay. Great turnout today, too. So we'll be back next Friday, same time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. And again, I'll be glad to review anything that you may be in at that time. We'll take another look at them and bring any and all of the stocks you're thinking about, and we'll review them because we'll uncover them if they're good. Okay. So thanks everybody. I'll put a little music on, and I'll just say goodbye for now and see you next week. And you can just hang tight for a little bit and then we'll close the room. All right. So have a good one and we'll see you next week.